The breaking point. The holographic display flickered in the dimly lit room as Captain Elena Torres reviewed the classified data one more time. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from a simmering anger that threatened to boil over. After 15 years of humanity's membership in the Galactic Confederation, she had uncovered evidence that would change everything. Earth had joined the Confederation in 2157, following first contact with the Ardelian scout ships that entered the solar system. Humanity had been ecstatic. The promise of advanced technology, interstellar travel, and a place among the stars had seemed like the culmination of centuries of dreaming. The Confederation, comprised of 27 spacefaring species, welcomed humans as the 28th member with great ceremony. That was before the restrictions began. Captain Torres scrolled through the stolen documents again. The Confederation Oversight Committee's seal was unmistakable on each file. Project Containment, Human Expansion Limitation Protocols. Read the heading. Below it lay detailed plans spanning the next century, all designed to systematically restrict human development, confine Earth's colonies to resource-poor systems, and gradually reduce humanity to a client species status. "You're sure this is authentic?" asked Admiral Chen, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of the display. "Absolutely certain, sir. My source inside Confederation intelligence risked everything to get this to us. The translation is perfect. They never expected a human to understand the high Ardelian encryption." The Admiral paced the secure conference room deep beneath Geneva. Outside, the gleaming towers of the United Earth Government headquarters sparkled in the spring sunshine, adorned with Confederation flags and symbols of interspecies cooperation. How hollow those symbols now seemed. "This explains everything," Lieutenant Howard said, reviewing his own data tablet. "The environmental concerns that shut down our Mars terraforming project, the safety regulations that halted our antimatter research, the administrative errors that denied colonization rights to systems we discovered." Torres nodded grimly. "They're afraid of us. This report specifically mentions our alarming adaptability and concerning rate of technological assimilation. They refer to humans as a potential destabilizing force in the galactic order." The Confederation had seemed so benevolent at first. They had shared some technologies, medical advances that extended human lifespans, basic interstellar drive systems, and communications technology, but always with limitations, always with restrictions that other species didn't face. Human colonies had been established on 17 worlds across 12 star systems, but each faced crippling regulations, resource extraction quotas that strangled economic growth, population caps that created artificial shortages, technology embargoes that kept the colonies dependent on Earth, which itself was dependent on the Confederation. "The resistance was right all along," Admiral Chen said quietly. "The human autonomy resistance wasn't officially acknowledged by the United Earth Government. Officially, humanity was grateful for Confederation membership and working diligently within the established system. Unofficially, a growing movement of scientists, military personnel, and civilians had been questioning the relationship for years." "There's more, sir," Torres continued, her voice dropping lower. "According to these files, the Oversight Committee plans to implement Phase 3 next month. They're going to revoke our deep space exploration rights entirely and begin neural compliance monitoring in all human educational institutions." "Mind control," Howard translated bluntly. "They're calling it harmonization," Torres said. "The same process they used on the Ventari when they became too independent a century ago." Admiral Chen's face darkened. The Ventari had once been brilliant innovators. Now they were little more than servants to the elder Confederation species, docile and compliant. "We need to take this to the Security Council immediately," he decided. Within hours, Earth's highest governing body had convened an emergency session. The evidence was presented, debated, and verified by multiple intelligence sources. The shock gave way to outrage, and then to something else: resolve. For 3 days, the Security Council deliberated in complete secrecy. When the Confederation ambassador, High Emissary Thexla of the Ardelians, requested an audience on the fourth day, he was met with uncharacteristic silence. His inquiries about unusual activity at Earth's military installations went unanswered. On the fifth day, United Earth President Amara Okafor addressed the Confederation Council directly via quantum link. Her message was brief and stunning. In light of evidence proving the Galactic Confederation's systematic oppression and planned subjugation of humanity, the United Earth government hereby withdraws from all treaties and agreements. Earth reclaims its full sovereignty, effective immediately. All Confederation personnel must leave Earth space within 48 hours. The Confederation Council erupted in chaos. High Chancellor Vrex of the founding Medusan species immediately activated his communication channel. President Okafor, this is most irregular. Whatever concerns you have can surely be addressed through proper diplomatic channels. There is no need for such drastic. The time for diplomacy ended when we discovered your plans for neural compliance monitoring. Okafor interrupted. We've seen what happened to the Venturi. Humanity will not share their fate. This is madness, sputtered Ambassador Thexla. You cannot possibly survive without Confederation support. Your colonies rely on our supply lines. Your economy is integrated with ours. Your defensive capabilities are insufficient. That was by your design, Okafor said coldly. A design we reject. The deliberate limiting of human potential ends today. Throughout the solar system, Confederation officials found themselves politely but firmly escorted to their vessels by human security forces. On Mars, Europa, and the moons of Saturn, human colonies initiated lockdown protocols, refusing entry to Confederation ships. The 17 extrasolar colonies received encrypted messages from Earth. Independence Piro Togsio Ainitele Hidi STNDBY. Or if you are the ER instructions. In orbit around Earth, the Confederation's diplomatic fleet was surrounded by newly revealed human vessels, ships built in secret, deep in the asteroid belt, using technologies the humans had developed independently despite restrictions. This rebellion is unprecedented, High Chancellor Vrex declared from the Confederation capital. No species has ever withdrawn from the Confederation. The consequences will be severe. Earth's response came not from President Okafor, but from Admiral Chen, now revealed as the long-rumored leader of the human autonomy resistance. We understand the consequences, he said. We choose freedom. On the secure quantum channel, Captain Torres watched the Confederation Council's reaction with grim satisfaction. The Ardelians were gesticulating wildly, their forearms moving in patterns that indicated extreme agitation. The massive Medusans had changed color, their skin flushing to a deep purple that signified alarm. The insectoid Sith representatives were clicking their mandibles rapidly, a sign of intense calculation. But it was the reaction of the Venturi representatives that proved most telling. Though officially aligned with the Confederation, Torres could see something in their large, expressive eyes as they watched the human declaration. A fleeting glimmer of hope, quickly suppressed. As the solar system prepared for the Confederation's inevitable response, humanity faced its greatest challenge since discovering they were not alone in the universe. But for the first time in 15 years, they faced that challenge on their own terms. On the bridge of the UES Defiance, Captain Torres received new orders from Admiral Chen. She read them once, twice, then looked up at her crew with a mixture of apprehension and fierce determination. All hands, she announced. Prepare for Operation Exodus, the Great Departure. The Confederation had never faced anything like this. In its 8,000 years of existence, member species had occasionally chafed under its rules, but none had ever simply left. For 3 weeks after Earth's declaration, the Confederation Supreme Council debated its response. The elder species argued for immediate military action to restore order. Others counseled patience, suggesting economic sanctions would quickly bring the humans to their knees. A few of the younger species quietly wondered if the humans had legitimate grievances. Meanwhile, Earth was far from idle. Deep beneath the Himalayas, Dr. Marcus Chen, the Admiral's younger brother, worked with a team of scientists on the most ambitious project in human history. The cavernous laboratory hummed with energy as the final calculations were processed. "The simulations check out," Dr. Chen announced, his voice betraying exhaustion after days without sleep. "Project Ark is theoretically viable." Around him, dozens of scientists erupted in cheers. Some wept openly. What they were attempting had never been done before, not even by the oldest Confederation species. "Can we replicate the technology for all colony worlds?" asked Dr. Aisha Okonkwo, the project's co-director. "We'll have to," Chen replied. "The Confederation won't allow us to maintain independent colonies within their claimed territories. It's all of us together, or none." Across Earth and throughout the colonies, preparations accelerated. Every manufacturing facility worked at maximum capacity, producing components for Chen's revolutionary drive system. Massive ships, greater in size than anything humans had built before, took shape in hidden shipyards. The Confederation finally responded 30 days after Earth's declaration of independence. A fleet of 300 vessels entered the solar system, bypassing the outer defensive perimeter through routes only they knew existed. High Chancellor Vrex's message was broadcast on all frequencies. "This unauthorized secession cannot and will not be recognized. Earth will return to Confederation authority immediately or face appropriate consequences." The human defense fleet, vastly outnumbered, moved to intercept. But they didn't attack. Instead, they formed a protective screen around Earth, while smaller vessels darted between them, ferrying components and personnel to the surface. "They're stalling," observed the Medusan fleet commander, "preparing a last defense." "No," said the Ardelian tactical officer, its four eyes narrowing. "They're building something." The Confederation fleet maintained position just beyond Mars' orbit, wary of the human defenders but confident in their superior numbers and technology. They intercepted thousands of transmissions between Earth and the colonies, though the encryption prevented them from understanding most of the content. One clear message did get through: a global broadcast from President Okafor to all of humanity. "For 15 years, we believed we had found our place among the stars. Today, we know that place was to be one of eternal subservience. The Galactic Confederation welcomed us only to control us, restrict us, and eventually reduce us to a shadow of our potential. We reject this future. We choose another path." On the 93rd day after the Declaration of Independence, sensors throughout the solar system detected an enormous energy buildup on Earth. The Confederation fleet commander ordered an immediate advance, believing this to be a desperate weapon deployment. They were wrong. Across Earth's surface, enormous devices activated simultaneously. Dr. Chen's creation, built in secret over years and finalized in these 3 months of open defiance. Energy fields enveloped entire cities, mountain ranges, coastlines. The quantum signature was unlike anything the Confederation had seen before. "What are they doing?" demanded Chancellor Vrex, watching the live feed from his palace. The answer came from an unexpected source: a young Ventari scientist who had been studying restricted human research. "They're leaving." "That's impossible," the Chancellor scoffed. "Their ships couldn't possibly transport the planetary population." "They're not using ships," the Ventari replied, voice trembling with both fear and admiration. "They're taking Earth itself." In a feat of engineering that violated what the Confederation believed to be fundamental laws of physics, massive sections of Earth's surface began to shimmer and fade. The fields expanded, encompassing more territory. Within hours, they had covered every major human settlement on the planet. The Confederation fleet, now in Earth orbit, watched in disbelief as billions of humans and the ground beneath their feet simply disappeared. Not destroyed, transported, relocated through a form of mass quantum teleportation that should have been impossible. Admiral Chen, aboard the UES Defiance, sent a final message to the Confederation vessels. What you deemed too dangerous to allow, we developed anyway. What you tried to prevent has become our salvation. Humanity leaves your domain, but not the universe. The exodus was not limited to Earth. Throughout Confederation space, all 17 human colonies activated identical systems. Before the local Confederation authorities could react, every human settlement vanished, leaving behind only empty buildings and bewildered alien administrators. In the ensuing chaos, the human defense fleet slipped away, following the quantum wake of their transported civilization. The Confederation Council convened an emergency session that lasted for days. The impossible had happened. An entire species, billions of individuals, had simply removed themselves from known space. Where have they gone? Demanded the Ardelian High Speaker. No one knew. The humans had discovered or created a method of mass translocation that defied Confederation science. The energy signatures led toward the galactic rim, toward uncharted regions that even the Confederation had never properly explored. We should pursue them, insisted several counselors. This technology cannot be allowed to exist outside our control. With what? Asked the Medusan Chancellor bitterly. Their quantum wake disrupts our drive systems. We cannot follow where they have gone. As the debate raged, the Ventari representatives requested an unusual audience with the Chancellor. In private, they shared recovered data from a human research outpost. They found something in the galactic rim, the Ventari scientist explained. An ancient network of spatial corridors, predating even the founding species. The humans called it the Gateway. That's how they transported themselves and portions of their world. Why weren't we informed of this discovery? The Chancellor demanded. The Ventari's large eyes met his unflinchingly. Would you have allowed them to explore it, or would you have classified it as too dangerous, as you did with our own pioneering research a century ago? The Chancellor had no answer. 3 years passed. The Confederation gradually adjusted to humanity's absence, though the economic and scientific impacts were greater than anticipated. Human innovation had driven unexpected growth in several sectors. Their absence left a noticeable void. Then, without warning, a single human vessel appeared at the edge of Confederation space. It broadcasted a message to all worlds. The United Systems of Humanity sends greetings from our new home territories. We have established colonies in a region rich with resources and ancient wonders. The Gateway Network has opened the stars to us in ways the Confederation never permitted. We come now not as supplicants, but as equals. Not as members, but as neighbors. For those species who wish genuine cooperation rather than domination, we offer trade, cultural exchange, and mutual defense. For those who once feared our potential, we confirm your fears were justified. Humanity has flourished beyond your constraints. The choice of relationship is yours. We await your reply. In the council chambers, the representatives of 27 species sat in stunned silence. The humans had not just survived, they had thrived. And now they offered a hand in friendship from a position of newfound strength. The Ventari representatives were the first to speak. The humans have shown us there is another way, they said. Perhaps it is time for the Confederation to evolve. As debate erupted once more, a quiet message was transmitted from the Ventari homeworld directly to the human vessel, bypassing official channels. We remember what it means to dream. Teach us again.